How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? Well, with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills. Wait, did I say job title yet? Get started today and see how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, I'm Amanda from Trifecta Fitness. We're proud to be Clarksville's new Get Fit headquarters. Trifecta Fitness is a state-of-the-art spin and strength training studio. Our spin studio is truly one of a kind in this area, complete with 20 state-of-the-art live fitness bikes and an incredible sound system. Our strength training is done in small groups of 6 or fewer, and all of our strength and spin classes are scalable for every level of experience. Come see us in the heart of Clarksville, just behind MAPCO at the corner of Old Trenton Road and Wilma Rudolph Boulevard. Call us for more info at 931-542-6265 or download our Trifecta Fitness app for a full list of upcoming classes.
Take contact, target compound.
Combat, it's killing. That's what it is. And it's done in an environment that is often as difficult as you can possibly imagine. Extremes of climate. It's uncivilized, and women can't do it. The requirements for strength and endurance render them unable to do it. Doesn't work.
I knew the moment I stepped in over there at Bragg, I was like, we are being watched and something bigger is shaking out, I guarantee it.
You're looking at each other. Is she as tough as I am?
It was a bunch of female alphas.
You're doing this for every other woman that's going to come after you. Any argument that a man's going to have about why women shouldn't be allowed to be here, don't contribute one iota.
I thought, war? What are you doing here?
It was a man's club. Like, that is the lion's den that we just walked into.
For 8 years of a war, we didn't see the other half of a target book.
You bring a white man in a very intimidating U.S. uniform, a lot of women will feel uncomfortable.
We're gonna go into that darkness and just be like, you need this done? Okay, let's go.
This is not what I was expecting at all.
Nobody cares if you're a man or a woman. You are defined by your actions purely.
Having this one woman on target freed up probably 4 guys.
I would have liked to have seen that play out a little bit.
I start to wonder if you're there too long, if whatever gains you made start to erode themselves, and soon you leave in the same place you started. What does winning look like?
War's not stopping. How long has America been around? How many wars we been in? Conflicts? Only thing changing is the date.
All right. Welcome back.
Misfit Nation. Misfit Nation. The Misfit Nation show.
We are a show founded by a veteran and hosted by 2 veterans and a military spouse. Our mission is to get people to tell their stories to the world. If you're an author, share your tips with the Misfit Nation. If you're a musician or an actor, our audience needs to know how they too can get into the business. Coaches, we love our coaches. Come on and share your tips with the Misfit Nation to help them become better versions of themselves. If you are a corporate leader or an entrepreneur, come on and show how you did it and how hard you have fought for success. If you are a veteran, first responder, or Gold Star family, we would love to have you come on and share your story with the Misfit Nation. We always have time for you. If you're feeling down, alone, or starting to see the darkness, Stop. Think about those who are around you. You are not alone. You will be missed. If you feel like your problems will be a burden to those in your inner circle or feel embarrassed, dial 988. If you are a veteran, take option 1. We need you to keep pushing forward. Don't make a permanent solution to a temporary problem. If you are a new listener, welcome to the Misfit Nation show. Be sure to subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast app. Also on our YouTube channel at @the_MisfitNation. Subscribe and click the bell to keep you up to date on our latest episodes and all of our news. You can also find us on Heroes Media Group and About Face Radio. Now, let's get to the show!
All right. Welcome back to the Misfit Nation show. How's everyone doing tonight, this lovely Sunday evening? Yes, I am back. We are not in Puerto Rico anymore, and I am actually on the controls. Cagney and Lacey are in the chat right now, so if you want to send your questions through there, and they should be able to get your answers you need. Tonight we'll pay homage to a couple people. Deputy Sheriff Melissa Pollard, Wood County Sheriff's Office in Texas, end of watch Wednesday, April 9th, 2025. To keep her friends, family, peers in your thoughts and prayers as they go through this tough time. And U.S. Navy veteran Mark Miller, April 2025, 54 years old. He went to the VA on April 1st, spoke to the doctor. The doctor gave him a bag of pills without looking at him, without really listening to him. By the 8th, it was too much for him. He went back to the Audie Murphy VA clinic in San Antonio. He texted his dad from a cab, got out of the cab, went to the door, and he took his own life at the door of the VA. This does not need to happen. This needs to stop happening. We need to police our brothers and sisters from the ranks and do our best to try to help them. I know not everyone asks for help, but maybe if you reach out and talk to your buddies, they will give you those things that you need to hear. And let them know that you're there for them, and you will miss them. And like our intro says, you will be missed if you do something like this. Don't think you're alone. We are here for you. Tonight we have a good one. We have a father and son team on here. Dad, U.S. Army Ranger. Son, Chief Executive Officer. Guided by a vision to reshape the lives of veterans and their families. Gino founded Champions for Veterans, his goal to ensure they receive the VA benefits they've earned and rightly deserve. Before establishing Champions for Veterans, he navigated the corporate landscape for 9 years, applying his keen skills in accounting and auditing to serve both large and small scale organizations. So without further ado, I'm going to let them tell more about their story, and plus they're probably better at it than me, of course. Let's bring in Gino and Terry Ranger Johnson. Welcome, gentlemen.
All right, man.
Yes, sir.
Love that intro. We got to get a little bit more up to that Ranger Johnson. You know, I mean, you've been retired as long as I have, man. We got to bring that back, though. But that's okay. I
could have rang the bell for you too.
I appreciate that, brother. You got to have that, man.
So, gentlemen, I gave the 2 cent version of your bios. I want you two to tell us a little more about it, from as far back as you want to go to how we got here and how you're the two minds of you guys coming together and getting this vision going.
Man, that's cool.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, you know, I can go back, but I won't go back as far as my dad for obvious reasons. But you know, I mean, I'll go ahead and go back to his retire in 2000, and he'll tell a lot more of his story. But it took him 17 years to get his benefits. And you know, me, I tell you about myself, civilian. I didn't personally serve. Grew up, you know, of course, in a military household with my dad, experiencing being brought up by Drill Sergeant Ranger Johnson, right? Who, you know, as he said, Ranger Johnson. And that's him, you know, and some of the things that my dad taught me were hard work, dedication, focus, and you know, entrepreneurship. And that's what I recall. You know, I don't remember a lot of my dad being in the service growing up. He retired when I was just 12, but I do remember after he got out, the things he decided to do. He's a motivational speaker. You know, he inspires people. he gets up on stage doing something that most people aren't willing to do, and he's helped kids throughout the Delta of Mississippi. And but that entrepreneurial spirit, his availability to always be there as a dad was always something that I just looked up to, and I always wanted to do myself. And I'm now a dad. I have an 11-month-old daughter, and so it's been. Thank you. Yeah, so it's a blessing to be able to be at home and be able to be around her. But yeah, my dad inspired me in that way. So going into how I became where we, how I got to where we are today, being an entrepreneur and started CFV with my dad. I started entrepreneurship back when I was in high school. When I was, I think it was between my sophomore and junior year, or maybe junior and senior year. I can't remember exactly, but I wanted to get a job. I'm a 16, 17-year-old, and I'm thinking I want to go make some money. During the summer, I was playing football, but I was like, after practice, I'll go and get a job at McDonald's or something. And my dad, he just said, "Why would you want to get a job? Why don't you start a business?" And he said, "You can go ahead and just cut people's yards, and you can start making some money doing that on your own." And that's what I ended up doing. He ended up giving me my first business loan, buying a lawnmower for me, and I paid him back interest free. It's hard to find some of those kind of loans nowadays, right? So, no, but yeah, that was really what sparked my entrepreneurial spirit. Fast forward, I did go to Ole Miss and went to school, did accounting for 9 years, like you mentioned. And back in the summer of 2020, my dad we were talking. We would talk. I called my dad, and said, "What are you doing, Pops?" And he was telling me how at that point he was helping vets with their VA benefits, and he had multiple vets, about 20 at that point, that he was coaching through the process, teaching them how to get their benefits and seeing their lives change. At that point, I had no idea what a VA disability rating was, what it meant, what benefits were there, financial, medical. I had no idea why it was hard, but I knew that it was. And I knew my dad, as a motivator and as an educator, was helping other vets to do it. And so I was in a space where I said, you know what? I want to go and do something. I want to go and solve a part of the world's problems, as an entrepreneur does. I want to solve a problem in the world. And that was a problem that I decided to solve at that point with my dad. And I said, we can make this into an online course and help out a lot more people. And that's what we did back in 2020, almost 5 years ago. In July of 2020, we started CFV and been doing that ever since. But, the business itself and the organization, the good we get to do, I'm grateful for that. But, the thing that really drives me forward, that is the heart of my why, is the fact that I saw my dad growing up deal with the injuries from his service on his back when he couldn't really play with us. Me and my younger brother, we like to wrestle and play, and he had to kind of lay out, and to know that he could have been compensated and taken care of by the VA had he gotten the benefits he earned when he retired, yet he didn't have them. And it impacted not only him, our whole family. And I'm driven by our mission to help change veterans and their families' lives, because I know ours was impacted by my dad not getting his benefits. So that's it. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Now we'll pave way for the Ranger to lead the way now and tell us his story here. Let's go, Ranger.
I was enjoying my son's story. That was pretty good.
What he did story right
was that summer he actually made $1,600 cutting yards that summer.
Nice.
And my thing was, son, why you want to go to McDonald's or Burger King and work for that time $5 an hour? Like your classmates, you can cut grass and make way more than that.
Yep.
And it was amazing that thing would get him and I to doing this business together. But my story, I'm from a small town in East Texas called Marietta, Texas, population 112. I didn't grow up in the town. I grew up 5 miles outside of that town on a dirt road. But that's the true population when I was growing up, 112 people. And, not too far. If you want to know where's Marietta, Texas, about an hour from Shreveport, about an hour from Texarkana, Texas, kind of northeast corner, northeast Texas. And I couldn't wait to shake a pair of keys and leave. I really couldn't. I tell everybody, people say, well, why'd you join the Army? I grew up hauling hay, cutting pulpwood. We had a bunch of land working for my grandfather. So we had just tracts of land back there. So you can imagine the kind of work you can do on tracts and tracts and tracts of land, from hauling hay, cutting pulpwood, growing watermelons, peas, corn. Think about it. We grew it. We drove it to Dallas and sold it at the farmer's market, right? So I can remember going to the recruiter in Texarkana, Texas, and between my junior and senior year, and I get there, Rich, and I don't know anything about the Army. You know, I had an uncle that was in the Marines. He was in the Navy. So I get there, and they had a guy with an M16 and $3,000 over the top of his head. And I said, what's that? He said, that's an M16. No, the $3,000 over his head. They said, well, that's the bonus you'll get if you make it through basic and AIT. How long is basic? 6 weeks. How long is AIT? 6 or 7 weeks. I said, so what you're telling me is I go in the Army and 13 to 14 weeks after I join, I can get an additional $3,000. He said, yeah. I said, great. Where do I sign up? So, you know, people say I signed up for money. I tell everybody that. And then he said the great thing. He said, you know, if you do 20 years in, at the end of that time, you get a retirement check. I said, hold on a minute, man. I'm 17 now. You're telling me if I do 20 years at 37, the month after I'll start getting a check? Now, I mean, this is news to me because I didn't know anybody in my family that was drawing a check at 37 years old. No one. And I said, right. So I joined for money. Did I love serving my country? Yeah. Did I enjoy doing it? Absolutely. But I joined to retire at 37. And that's exactly what I did. I did 20 and I retired. But the story in the middle of that, you know, served in the infantry 4 years. I was in Berlin, Germany when they had the Berlin Wall, 1982 to 84. I joined the Army in 1980, first duty station, Fort Lewis. Went to Germany right after that. When I was in Germany, found a great leader, one of the first mentors. I tell people, find a mentor because they can see more in you than you can see in yourself. One of my first mentors was Sergeant First Class Paul Higgs. He was from Tennessee. And I'm going to get his accent. He would walk in and say something like this, Rich, don't make me act like a redneck. Johnson, get over here, son. You don't know nothing about the Army. And I would look at the little regulations and try to beat him, teach him drill and ceremony. I was a drill sergeant, son. Get over here, you know. And what happened was this man helped me. I became a soldier of the cycle, NCO of the quarter. A big thing in Europe was the Sergeant Morales Club. I became a member of that, led by Sergeant Higgs. And one day he looked at me, Rich, and he said, come here, son. I said, yes, Sergeant Higgs. You're going to be a drill sergeant. I said, no, I'm not. I'm going to leave here. I'm going to go to Ranger School. I'm going to go to Special Forces. Hey, man, I'm going to jump out of airplanes, be a Green Beret, do all that hood stuff. He said, no, you're not. I said, what do you mean? He said, if you become a drill sergeant, when you become a drill sergeant, you're going to learn how to organize and how to train people, massive groups of people. And this is going to give you the platform for the rest of your career. So he went and got the paperwork at that time. I remember a 4187. He put it on his desk and he said, sign here, son. And guess what I did? I signed there and I became a drill sergeant. And I'll think about it now, Rich. I graduated drill sergeant school at the age of 21. I was 21 years old when I graduated drill sergeant school and did 2 years on the trail. Got there, learned how to swim. I had this desire to be a ranger, but I could not swim. Never tell people they can't do something because age, background, race, creed. Never fall into the trap of you're not supposed to do this, right? And I found some people that believed in me, taught me how to swim. Went through jump school on drill sergeant duty, doing a cycle break. Went to Ranger School and RIP right after that. And served 2 years in the Ranger Battalion, Bravo Company, 1st to the 75th Ranger Battalion, Savannah, Georgia. And while I was there, I had this crazy idea. I wanted to be a Green Beret. I went through the Special Forces qualification course in 1989 and served 11 years as a Green Beret and absolutely loved it, serving the 7th Special Forces group. You know, I tell everybody, I've lived the American dream, man. I would wake up in Bolivia, Honduras, Panama. I'm a country boy from East Texas, man. I'm down here speaking Spanish, training soldiers. And really, I would be like, this is incredible. I mean, I was never like, oh, my God, we're going to. I was like, man, we're jumping into Panama, Gatun drop zone. Brother, we're flying down to Key West, and we're coming out of a C-130 with parachute on, with some shorts on, right? Jumping into the ocean. Come on, man. Are you serious? I would have paid them to do it, Rich.
And you're getting paid to do it.
Yeah, but guess what? At the end of 20 years, I made E8 in 13 years, very fast. I was on the fast track to make command sergeant major, and I wanted to stay 30. But guess what? I was like that old athlete. My back got jacked up. In the middle of jumping out of planes, road marching, rangering, and special forces, I got degenerative disc L5S1. So by the time I had 13 or 14 years in, my body started to get where I couldn't, I knew I could not do the runs. By the time I made it to 18 years, I was just trying to hang on to 20. That's the reality. So I barely made it across the finish line, and I'm thankful I did, because I thought, bad as my back was getting, I was going to get put out the Army, because it got to that point at the end of my career. So, I basically retired at 20. I wanted to do more. Went to the VA. Here's our story. Salisbury, North Carolina, go to the VA. And I walk out July of 20. I retired, 1980 to 2000. I walked out with 10% disability. I'm just going to let that sit there for a minute.
Let's simmer.
Let's let that simmer. Yeah. Infantry, airborne, ranger, drill sergeant, special forces, all this hoo-ha stuff. Over 120 jumps out of airplanes. They gave me 10% disability. The Bible says be angry, but don't sin. I tell people, I don't think I've ever sinned against the VA, but I'm still angry.
Yeah.
How did a guy like me or you or somebody else that serve their country, do the best that they can? And I got an MRI that says degenerative disc L5S1. It ain't like I'm just saying, I got back pain. I got an MRI. And they say, not service connected. Here's 10% for tinnitus. Bye. So I left that day not knowing what to do, right? I mean, I meet my buddies. They say, what did you get, man, going to the VA? I said, 10%. Fast forward, right? I go to one of my sons, Justin Johnson, ended up getting a scholarship to play basketball at Ole Miss. So we moved to Oxford, Mississippi when in 2001 that was, and stayed there. I ran into an old boy from Vicksburg, Mississippi, Troy Truly, a veteran. We're going to prison ministry. We're speaking in prisons. We're going all over the Mississippi Delta, speaking in schools with what my business champions within Kingdom Builders. And I'm riding with him one day, and I said, man, they gave me 10% disability. He looked at me and said, what's that got to do? They ain't got nothing to do with anything, because he was 100%. And he encouraged me to go after my VA benefits. And that started this journey. I finally worked. 2017, I made it to 100%. 2007 took me 17 years. All right. And because I write and publish book, that's my newest book coming out, The Pebble Perspective, 1 June. Had to throw that little promotion in there.
Move it over a little bit so everyone can see it.
Yeah. Hold on. The Pebble Perspective. Can y'all see that? Yeah, 1 June. It's going to be on our website. That way.
There we go.
That way. Okay, thank you. Yeah, 1 June, my newest leadership book, The Pebble Perspective, coming out. A shameless plug. But anyway.
That's what we're here for.
There you go. Thank you, sir.
I'll give you more than 10%.
I appreciate it. Because I write and publish books, and Sergeant Higgs told me to go be a drill sergeant, I knew how to write a program.
Right.
Because of Sergeant First Class Claude Higgs. Getting emotional, man. That dude's been dead and gone with cancer years, but he changed my life. So I sat down the week after I got to 100% and wrote the Ranger method, what we use now. Didn't write it to start a business, Rich. Wrote it out of my frustration, because this is what I said. They can teach you to fly a helicopter, drive a ship, fire all kinds of weapons. There has to be a class on how to get VA benefits. So I wrote it.
Nice.
So I wrote it. Didn't write it to start a business. First person I'm driving to Dallas to see my dad from South Louisiana, where I live. I had my Ranger hat on, stopped at a gas station by Terrell, Texas. Had my Ranger hat on. A vet sees me. He's working on a road. Had his little hard hat, vest. Hey, vet, two vets talking at a gas station. Of course, I popped the question, man, you got your benefits yet? Oh, my God, the VA messed me over. You know the story, Rich. Oh, God, the VA. I said, look, brother, I just got mine. I wrote something in my phone. I typed up some steps. I don't know if it'll help you. Give me your name, number, and email. When we get to the next spot, I'll email it to you. I said, maybe it'll help you. I emailed it to him, Rich, and forgot about it. A year goes by. May 2018, my phone rings. I got him listed as vet, so I know him. I pick up the phone. Hey, vet. He starts talking. And, I don't even know who the guy is. Yeah. He said, you remember me, Ranger Johnson? I said, brother, I'm so sorry. I meet so many people. We met at a gas station, I-20, Terrell, Texas. Yeah. What's going on? He says, I made it. I said, you made what? He said, I got my VA benefits. I'm like, okay. Like, what you get? He said 100%. And guess what? I got $150,000 back pay for me, $13,000 for my daughter. He said, now I'm buying a house. Thank you.
Wow.
This was a 5-minute phone call. 5-minute conversation at a gas station. I didn't teach him anything.
Right.
I just emailed him what I had and he was able to follow. Called my wife's cousin, helped him next, and the story goes on. So by the time my son calls me during COVID, I'm working with about 20 people. And out of those 20, 10 of them, I got to 100%. So I knew I had a process that worked. Right. And I'm going to bring my son in because this is the part that I would not have done. He's talking to me on the phone. I'm sitting right here in this office. And in 5 minutes, he's like, Dad, we can make that a course. I'm like, I don't know, son. Because I'm like, I don't know anything about online courses. I'm like, I don't know, son. He's like, don't worry about it, Dad. I'm going to drive home and show you. So he leaves Atlanta, comes here, sits right here in this office and tells me how he can do it. And then he goes back and says, I'm going to quit my job. Now, for the people that don't understand, I'm a country boy from East Texas. I ain't never had no son that's a CPA making the money he was making in the corporate world. And now he calls me and tells me he going to quit his good paying. My mama would say that good paying job, that good job, and do this crazy thing with me. And that's why he's the CEO. Because I didn't have the guts. I would not have quit my job to do it. I told him, I said, son, I'm retired. I'm good whether Champions for Veterans makes it or not. I did not want him to quit his job because I'm like, oh my God, son, what if this thing don't work? You lose your house. He's like, Dad, it's going to work. So to say he believed in it more than I did, he did. He put his money up to start the company, and that's why he's the CEO. And it's about helping change lives. That's what we do, man. Let me tell a real story about helping veterans, right?
All right.
So I got a picture here, and I got to grab it. You want mine? This is a veteran. This is one of the vets we help. He's passed away now. Tell a story, because this is why you need to get your VA benefits. And all this garbage when I meet veterans, I'm good, bro. Well, you ain't good. Because what if you die?
Exactly.
This story about you dying. And, we're all dying while we're living.
You got an appointment.
Doing a motivational speech at a local school. I run in there, Rich, and this lady, Miss Pam, sees me. I was over to get my check for speaking in the school. And, of course, she sees me. She starts talking to me. She says, Ranger Johnson, you know about anybody can help with VA benefits? My husband's messed up from Vietnam. I said, yes, ma'am. I said, I can help. Now, I just started doing this. I probably only helped 2 people. I said, well, ma'am, have him call me, and I will come by your house. So I'll go over there and walk into their little house in Scott, Louisiana. And on her desk, on their kitchen table, is a FedEx pouch of nothing but VA records. I'm talking about 50 years of doctor's notes from him going to the VA since Vietnam. He was sitting at 10% disability. He was an infantryman, a point man in Vietnam, and he is so jacked up with PTSD. You meet somebody and they're not even looking at you, they're looking through you. And that's what Mr. John was. He wasn't even looking at you. And that night I sit there with Miss Pam shaking in my boots, because I'd only helped 2 or 3 people. I really wasn't, quote, as professional as I am now. And I looked at her before I left and I said, I'm going to help your husband get his benefits. And we helped him. Took a few months, but we helped him get to 100%. Fast forward, when he passed in 2022, I went out to the house. She invited me to the ceremony. And she told everybody, I would not have been able to quit my job had Ranger not helped me. And now not only was able to quit my job and be with my husband for the last 4 years, guess what? She ended up getting what's called DIC payment, which happens because he died from a VA disability from Vietnam. And now she gets part of his VA benefits and Champ VA medical insurance. See, what if I hadn't helped Mr. John get those benefits? The only thing she'd be getting was the Social Security check. Yep. So it's not just about getting benefits while you're living. What if you die? And is the fight worth it? Absolutely. It's worth it. And so what I tell vets all the time, it's about helping you to move forward. And literally, I tell people, we give you in Champions for Veterans, we give you the answers to the test. What's that? The VA test. Guess what, Rich? I ain't never been scared to taking a test if I knew the answers before I walked in.
Yeah. Right. You proctor.
Yeah. If I got the straight A student sitting next to me and they slide their paper over and I'm looking at it, I ain't scared. Oh, this is great. I'm liking this exam, right? That's what we do. We teach you a method. It's not magical. It's not hocus pocus, but it's a system that we teach on how to get your VA benefits. And so I'm thankful that my son had the courage to do this because I didn't. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
All right. All right, Gino, tell us a little more about your side when you brought the business mindset to it.
Oh, wow. I mean, appreciate you sharing that, Pops. I mean, my dad's quite a storyteller, and I think when we first started this, I had the vision. I said, you know what, we have a problem that can be solved and needs to be solved. It's a major problem, and there's a big why with this. And like you said, I did leave my job before we even knew how we were going to make any money from this. Now, but I had a belief, and faith without works is dead, man. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. You got to go and make a move. If you really believe in something, you got to make a move. You got to take action in that. And this whole journey, I've been grateful that God's opened doors. Every single thing we've done, it's just been a way. We found a way to figure out how do we move forward to the next step? How do we move forward to help with the next vet? How do we get in touch with the next vet who needs our help, right? Marketing, figuring all that out. How do we partner with organizations that also are on the same mission or even like all about helping vets that know that, hey, we're also out here to do the same thing. Get connected with folks like you, Rich, and other organizations that we've been able to tap into. And, so I've loved it. And, going from doing accounting where, you're looking at spreadsheets and numbers and financial statements, to having the opportunity to get on a call with a vet and they tell you changed my life. It's just mind blowing. And so I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the way we were able to do it. And, we've served, we helped, I know currently in our program, over 1,400 vets, thousands of vets we've helped through consultations, just kind of giving steps in the process. And so many have gotten benefits that, now we get these stories. We'll get a few of them a week sometimes. And it's like, there's another person that got their benefits. I'm excited. But last year, one of the most major current items that we did was we created this app called VA Claim Builder. And vaclaimbuilder.com, people can go there, get started, register, create an account. And what you do there is you can start the process of building out your case, putting together statements. And that's one of the things that, we help vets with. Of course, mindset is probably one of the first things we help vets with. These are your benefits. Nobody else's but yours. You're not taking any benefits from anybody else. You served your country. You sign the dotted line. These benefits are set aside for you. They're for you. That's just the bottom line. They are out there. If you earn them, you got the injuries in your body, you deserve those benefits. That's number one. Number two, tell them the truth. Tell your story. Write it out. Put together statements, lay statements, buddy statements, potentially nexus letters if needed. But you don't realize when you're submitting a claim up to the VA, these are humans reviewing paperwork. These are people looking at a story. And if you're telling a story that is the truth about what you did and what you went through in the service and what you go through on a day-to-day basis, the person reading that, they're not going to only just see medical paperwork, diagnosis from a doctor. They're going to see this veteran went through something and is going through something right now. Yes. They should get these benefits. So VA Claim Builder is all about helping you to build your case. Start telling your story. We have AI in there to make your kind of finagle it, to make sure if your writing is a little off, let's make it a little bit better. Let's make it more clear. We make sure you have the structure. We make sure you understand what the VA regulation says about what you're dealing with. And you can kind of walk through that whole process with that VA Claim Builder. You can submit emails to buddies who can write buddy statements and submit it into the actual app. And then you can eventually export that out into a Word document, sign it, put your information on there, and submit it up with your claim. And I'm telling you that piece right there is huge. I want every single vet to get on there, join VAClaimBuilder.com. So, but yeah, that's huge. That's what we're all about doing is just changing lives.
Definitely. You know, I think every excuse you said right there, I've heard from a veteran as I've gone through since I became a veteran. I'm not hurt enough. I didn't do enough. I don't deserve it. Someone else deserves it. A guy my brother served with, he did the full 20 in the Navy and refuses to go to the VA. He thinks they'll take away something from him. I said, you get 20 years, you can have a check for life for disability, tax-free.
Yeah.
Oh, no. That takes it from someone else. Look, man, I only can tell you this so many times, but there's millions of people out here getting it that did way less than you. So just go ahead and do it.
Yeah. I think what I tell people, what hurts us is pride.
Yep.
So I hope a vet is listening to me. Hard-headed. We're prideful. And look, I won't say I had it because my wife would probably say I still got it in my son. So I'm not gonna speak in a past tense, okay? I gotta be honest with everybody on the call. Let me say, God is working on my pride and helping me with my pride, okay? I'm not gonna say it's all gone, because that wouldn't be totally true. But pride, what stopped me? Yeah, it took 17 years, but part of it was the same thing. Hey, man, I'm a Green Beret. I'm this. I'm a Ranger. Da. And what happened to me, I was getting ready to go to church one Sunday. It was around, I made it to like 40%. So around 2014, I'll never forget, it was a Sunday morning. I'm getting ready to go to church, and I stood up. I just kind of bent down to tie my shoe, and my back gave out. Boom. That was the first time my back had ever just gave out. And next thing you know, now I'm on the carpet with tears coming down, because that was the first time in my life I lost control of my body. Yep. So I kind of been going for it a little bit, but around 2014, I said, okay, what if I can't walk? What if I'm in a wheelchair? I mean, that was the first time I lost control of my body, and just my back went out on me. And so for the next 3 years, I went hard to get my VA benefits. And that's how I ended up getting to 100%, because I finally made my mind up that I deserve 100%. My back's in a situation right now where I can't even control it. It can go out any minute. And so, no, I don't care what they say. I'm going after my benefits. Yep. I looked these numbers up a while back, and you can check now. And I looked at the veterans of the United States, and it was about, not the world, but in the U.S., it was about 18.5 million veterans or something like that in the United States. But get this, and I've seen different numbers, 25 to 30%. Only about 25 to 30% of veterans in the United States have even a 0% rating. So no matter how you look at it, 70 to 75% of vets that you see with those tags on their car, Army, Navy, most of them don't even have a VA rating. Think about that. Not even a rating. Okay. And so nobody's taking the money. Oh, you're taking it from a vet. Stop. When I hear that from a vet, you know what I say, Rich? Stop the garbage.
Yep.
Stop it. Okay. And this is what I love to say. Yeah. Took 25 years. Wow. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And this is what I tell people all the time. So when you're trying to get promoted to E5, E6, did you go to your commander and say, sir, give that promotion to Tom? He needs it more than me.
Hell no, I did the Heisman. I'm doing it.
Yeah. You did, yeah. No one does that. But guys say that about VA. They said about VA, give it to some. You didn't say when you was trying to make E7, E8, O1, O3. Oh, so now you want to give it to somebody else. Ain't nobody gonna feed your family, right? No one's gonna take care of your family.
Right.
You know, I didn't know that was coming. My son's in the Navy, called him. I gotta click it off. Navy commander. Sorry, he'll call his mom. Didn't know that was, I got my phone off. I didn't think it was gonna happen on my computer. His birthday tomorrow. He's probably called and said, "Hey, Dad, sorry, people, it's a live show." You know, let me cut my phone off. Oh, I'm on an Apple computer. He was calling, but you know, this is the stuff that happens. Pride
gets in the way. 100% gets in the way.
It gets in the way. And this is what I tell you. We lie too much, Rich.
Yep.
Veterans lie.
I'm good.
You already know. I'm good. Ain't nothing wrong with me. No, you're not. You're jacked up. Your back's hurt. Your knees are out. You got PTSD. All right?
Just take 10 minutes to get out of bed now.
Yeah, and look. So what I tell people, I could really help. We could help more veterans and champions of veterans if we wouldn't lie so much.
Yep.
You know, and I'm not saying you lying trying to get benefits. You're lying your way out of benefits. Isn't that different?
I came out, the Wounded Warrior Project sat with me at Panera Bread up in outside Aberdeen Proving Grounds, Maryland. That's where I did my last 2 years. I went to do my sleep study and then went and met him before I retired. And we sat there for like 4 hours. I was drinking the free coffees and I was just all wired up. And he said, yeah, your jacket's pretty thick for 22 years. It's a lot of paperwork. He said, you should have a good claim. And I didn't think anything of it. You have a great claim. I went to my compensation physical. And the lady looked at, I had a scar on my knee from where I got wounded. She said, how'd you get that scar? I said, I got hit with a mortar. But how'd you do that? In war, I got hit with a mortar. It went through the back of my knee out the front. Why do you have two scars? I said, it went in the back, out the front. Oh, that's weird. So I left there just to say, I'm not going to get anything. This lady just wrote me off. And a couple weeks later, I got the thing in the email saying that you're 100%. I said, there's no way. And I called the dude that Wounded Warrior Project. I said, am I being punked? Is this thing real? And he went in there and said, yeah, you're 100%. Woo! Wow. I've never seen it happen for someone coming out on the first try.
Yeah. And it's better when you just get out. It's easier because those claims are presumptive, right? So if you go ahead and put your claim in the first 12 months after you get out, it's a whole lot easier to get it. Now, we've helped guys at all levels. You know, recently we helped a man. He got out of the Army in 1966. Get this. He got out in 1966. Because I've been out too long. I can't get, we hear all kinds of stuff. I say, stop. Well, we got him from 10% to 100%. And we're excited about that. Him and his wife got $60,300 back pay. You heard it. $60,300 back pay. And now, after talking to the wife, he has brain stents, different things going on. And the wife has to drive him everywhere they go. And so now we just helped her apply for the CARES Act, where she get a chance to get paid to care for her husband, which is going to be around $1,794 a month on top of their 100% check. Okay. So don't tell me anything about I've been out too long. No, it'll never happen. He got out of the Army in 1966. And so we're excited because we teach you the right way of doing it, and we tell you to tell the truth, and we hold your hand through the process, compensation and pension exams, what paperwork to fill out. Do you fill out a VA form 21-526EZ or VA form 20-0995? I know you don't know what that is, but it makes me sound like I do, which I do. And
numbers.
Right? Yeah. Or do you fill out a VA form 21-0781 for PTSD? And how do you fill that form out? So we teach you all of that because this is the crazy thing, Rich. I tell people all the time. We coach veteran students, and we just brought on about 8 new coaches to do, and I'm teaching them to do what I do. And so I was helping a retired major combat pilot, flew UH-60 Blackhawks, and we're working together online. I'm helping him, fill out his paperwork. And halfway through, he stops me. He says, Ranger, this is crazy. I said, sir, what's going on? He said, I got 2 master's degrees. I'm not a dumb man, he says. I'm not a dumb man. I got 2 master's degrees. If you weren't walking me through this paperwork, holding my hand, I wouldn't know what to do. He said, why is this process so complicated and complex? Hey, it's a governmental paperwork, brother. And I don't sit here and go, because I've been doing it for so many years and know what I'm doing is, it's easy. No, it's not. There are so many loops and turns to getting your VA benefits, but the great thing, we've been blessed to know how to do it, and we love helping people do it.
Definitely. We had 2 questions pop in the chat. I think you've answered both questions already. I'm just going to pop them up there so we give them some credit. But the first one was from Sally Garterbelt 9. What inspired you both to create Champions for Veterans, and how did your own military and professional experiences shape that decision? I think you answered most of that question already. So thank you, Sally Garterbelt. Yeah, and the second one was from Best Foot Forward. What's the most common reason veterans miss out on the benefits they're entitled to? And I think we just hit that one. We just hit a home run with that one too, as that question came in. So they're asking the questions as you answer them before it comes out. It's like you have some kind of intuition, like you've done this before.
Yeah. Hey, I am one of those hard-headed, knucklehead, prideful vets, man. Ask my wife. I mean, she told me for years, and I would, Rich, I would do it. Then I would this is what I tell vets. Getting a turn down letter from the VA is a kick in the gut. You know how many times I applied for benefits and they said, not service connected, not service connected. This will blow your mind. I just helped the vet go from 40% to 100%. Saw him at our local pool here in Lafayette, Louisiana. So my wife and I swim 3 days a week. He was in there swimming. He has an airborne tattoo. So I walk in. I never seen him. Walk in one day, he's coming. He had a big old airborne tattoo. I said, that's interesting. Airborne tattoo. He gets out. I said, man, what do you know about that? Just see if he was, a poser. Oh man, I was with First Group. I was attached to First Group, Fort Lewis, Washington. And we started talking. I said, man, dog, what's your VA benefit? I'm always going to ask him that. What's your rating? So I'm 40% now. Then he looks at me and tells me something that was crazy. He said, I have bilateral hip replacement before I was 50 years old. I said, what? He said, yeah, the VA said my hips are not service connected. I'm looking at this man. He's got bilateral hip replacement. I said, you got to be kidding me. He said, oh, no. Of course, he signs up for our course. I started coaching him. We get him from that 40% to 100%. It takes us about 8 months because he had to go to the VA, get some more documentation. And we get him there, and he gets a special monthly compensation for the issues with his VA, with his hips. So he didn't have to get $4,000 a month. His VA check is $4,500 a month. He's got a daughter in law school, and now she's getting that $1,560 a month because she's in college. And it's just like life-changing. And to see that guy in the pool 3 days a week, and he says, dude, you changed my life. Because you saw me at the pool and you looked at my tattoo and you asked the question. And this is what he said, Rich. He said, Ranger, you don't realize this. When you were telling me that, I didn't believe you could do it. He said, but I went home because I had so many people tell me that they could help me and wouldn't. He said, then I went home and my wife said, if Ranger Johnson had that much conviction, he can help you. Yep. So he said, my wife believed you could do it. I didn't. Right? And because he'd been kicked in the gut so much, been told somebody's going to help him, didn't help him. So what I tell vets all the time, I said, listen, I don't even care if you believe, because your belief ain't got nothing to do with my belief. Oh, that messes people up. Oh, Ranger, I don't believe. I don't care. I really don't care if you believe or not. Right. I do. Right?
That's what matters.
I ride a Honda Gold Wing trike. The rear end went out on it, right? I love telling this story. So I got this old Cajun mechanic about 3 miles from my house, and you pass right by his shop, Rich. You wouldn't even go in there. Oh, broke down cars in the back. Oh, my God. It don't look like nothing. But everybody in this community said, that old boy is the best guy with a wrench and on a motorcycle, anybody in the community. So I take it over there to him. He looks at me. He said, well, I ain't never done that before, but I believe I could figure it out. I go over there one day. He's got my whole rear end off the back of that trike. I mean, I've never seen it broken down like that. It scared the mess out of me when I walked in the shop. And he's just calm. Yep, found out the problem. He's like, yep. And my heart is coming out my chest. Got the wheels off. I mean, this thing is broken down to the frame. And I'm freaking out in my mind, and he's just so calm. Yeah, we'll have you up and running, Ranger, in a little bit. No problem. Found the problem right here. He fixes the thing. And it taught me a valuable lesson. When people come to CFV, their VA cases are jacked up, stripped up, denied, deferred, denied, not service connected. And they're going, it ain't no way anybody can help me. Oh my God, it's just no way. But when I look at it, I say, we got you. We got you. And this is what we're going to do. And so it was a valuable lesson for me getting my motorcycle worked on, because I had to trust that this old Cajun from South Louisiana knew more about working on a motorcycle than I did.
Heck yeah.
And no matter how scared I was, because I was scared when I looked at my motorcycle. I'm not going to sit there. Oh, I was brave. I was so scared. I'm like, where are all the parts at? Can he even put it back together? And that's how we are with CSV when we get a vet. I tell them, look, sit down. Let us show you. Meet with us. Do a consultation. Sign up for a consultation. Meet with us and just learn. And I always tell vets this, Rich, I'm going to teach you more in 45 minutes on a consultation than anybody's ever taught you about your VA benefits by just showing you. And then people go, wow, now I understand.
Sometimes that's all it needs is to show you, point and click, instead of giving the handout, giving them a hand up. Yeah, understand what's going on.
Yeah, it's about helping people. I get it. I know how it is to be sitting there struggling, going to the VA, getting kicked in the teeth, told no. You applied, you get a turn down, and finally you get that 100%. I'll never forget, Rich, the day that I got to 100%. It was a Sunday morning. My wife and I was getting ready to go to church, and my wife says, "Baby, I made it to 90%. And she said, there's about $2,200 extra in our bank account. Now I knew back then the difference between 90 and 100 was $1,100 a month. So that sounds like 2 months of back pay, $2,200. So man, I turned that computer on and that thing was spinning. Back then it was e-benefits. It was spinning. And when that thing would normally hit 90, it went to 100. My wife and I shouted, screamed, snot, cried, hugged. 100% is life changing. If you're sitting at 90 thinking you're good, think about all the things you get at 100%. And every state's different. Yep. Every state's a little bit different. But you're talking about, no taxes on your house. You're talking about your kids going to college for free. And you're talking about being able to participate in the DIC payment if you die from a service-connected injury. If you're sitting there with hypertension at 90% and you die from a heart attack, well, your spouse is not going to get that extra money that she could get because you didn't go ahead and get your 100%.
Yep.
And that's the reality of it, right?
All right. We got a couple more questions in the chat here.
Okay.
One, I think you've really answered a lot, but I think they want to hear it again, I guess. But this is from Halusha Bam. Ranger, how does your military background influence how you train and support your fellow veterans today? Thank you, Halusha Bam.
All right. Thank you, Bam. I appreciate that. Well, if you're Ranger qualified in Special Forces, you got this hard mentality, right? That I don't take excuses from you vets. I just don't. I don't put up with it because I know you've earned these benefits. So my training and mentality is find a way to win. Find a way to win. I get it. It's hard. You got kicked in the teeth. Okay, let's go back again. Working with a lady right now, put in for military sexual trauma. And by the way, vets, 9 out of 10 women that I speak with that served in any branch of service, it doesn't matter their rank, race, creed, color, has had issues with military sexual trauma. 9 out of 10. And it's so prevalent. The 10th one that said it didn't bother them, I don't even believe them now.
Right.
I'm just being honest with you. So I'm working with a lady right now that she got kicked in the teeth. We put a great package together for PTSD, military sexual trauma, and the VA denied it. And I told her we're going to file for a higher level review. So now we're backing up. We're getting statements from her kids, coworkers, from her psychologist, from everybody that she's talked about this. And we're putting another packet together for a higher level review. And I told her, as she was crying on a Zoom call, I said, listen, if you don't quit, I ain't quitting. And I know it's a kick in the gut. And I know this happened to you while you served. And I know you were sexually abused and got turned down. I get it. But guess what? I'm going to fight with you. You know, because I tell people, if anybody get on a call and tell you they know what the VA is going to do, they lying. Yeah. No one knows what the VA is going to do. We put great packets together. We give you great information. But we don't always get that particular thing. We may get something else. They may turn that down. Get this. Get this is crazy. The veteran I talked about with bilateral hip replacement, the VA still said it wasn't service connected. They just gave him extra money for hip pain.
Wow.
Think about what I'm telling you. This man's sitting there with 2 metal hips, and they still did not service connect his hips. But he got to 100%.
Yeah.
Now, you would have thought that's an easy low-hanging fruit. Of course they're going to connect that. No, they didn't.
Yep.
Right? But we still got him where he needed to be. So when I'm dealing with a veteran, what I tell you is, what do you believe? See, I don't care what anybody says about my benefits. Oh, you didn't deserve that. I don't care what you think.
Right.
I don't. I believe I deserve 100%. I don't even care if you think I do. How about that?
Right.
That's the attitude you need to take.
Exactly.
You know, guess what? I knew 20 people that got killed in training when I was in training. I knew 5 guys got killed one night on a riverine operation in Savannah in Special Forces. One of the guys was a Rambo. He was a captain on a Halo team. When I was in 7 Special Forces group, this dude was Halo qualified. He was a helicopter pilot. He made lieutenant colonel and was out there training with his men and got killed in one night. 5 dudes.
Wow.
Bam. On a riverine operation. So don't tell me you don't deserve these benefits.
Right.
Guys getting shot, blown up on ranges, jumped out of airplanes. You know, we come in to do a CAPEX exercise at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. When I was in the Ranger Battalion, we were doing a big CAPEX exercise. We come in on those Air Force 53 helicopters. One company came in way before us. Guys were getting ready to fast rope down the fast rope. Guys on the fast rope, the helicopter came in too fast. He threw the guy up from the fast rope, and the helicopter blade chopped his head off. In training. Yep. It wasn't combat. In training. This happened in training.
Yep.
So don't I get emotional. Don't tell me you didn't earn benefits. You've earned these benefits. It's up to us to help put your story together and help you tell the truth. Now look, I'm gonna be real frank with you. If you think you're gonna live forever and ain't gonna need these benefits, don't call us.
That's a true statement. Yeah.
But if you say, you know what, Ranger, you making a whole bunch of sense. You jacked up. You fired up. And you know what? Let me at least reach out to you guys and see, you know, if y'all can help.
We got another question in here. This one here This goes right along with what you were just saying. X-ray landed me. What are the first steps a veteran should take if they believe they're eligible but have not applied yet?
Good.
X-ray.
Well, if you hadn't applied that, you got to tell people you got to get to the doctor, man. Civilian doctor, military doctor. If you're rated at 0, if you don't have a rating at all, you got to get to the doctor and get some actionable evidence. What's that? Go to your civilian doctor and talk about knee pain and get that put in your file. Go to your civilian doctor and talk about your PTSD and start getting treatments. If you have at least a 10% rating minimum, go to your local VA, make sure you get a VA ID card, and you can ask for a VA doctor. Listen to me, vets. If you're rated minimum 10%, you can go to your local VA and say, I want a VA doctor assigned to me, okay? And start seeing a VA doctor talking about all your issues. And this is what I love to hear, Rich. I don't trust the VA. I don't care. Hello. I ain't going to no VA doctor. If you work with me, you are. Because there's nothing more powerful than the VA doctor writing, Rich has back pain. Then the VA for pay, look at what the VA doctor wrote. Wow. Now you understand. So get to those doctors, get to the VA doctors, get to the civilian doctors, and start getting actionable evidence to help you file. That's what you need to do.
100%. Gino,
I'm giving some juice. I'm giving some juice tonight, Ridley.
Yes, you are. You're hitting them home runs. Gino's just sitting there smiling and saying, that's my dad.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm on something tonight, man. I'm on something tonight, dog. I promise you I'm on some juice tonight, baby.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you're going, you're hitting it. He's hitting it. You know, it's hard to add much to what he's sharing. I know that. I think one thing I think about also is the PACT Act, and I know that's something that was huge that's recently happened. That many vets, still to this day, we talk to vets who don't even realize they're eligible for the PACT Act. If you, post 9/11, many vets served in different ways. I would say Google it, look at what you may be eligible for. But if you definitely served in Iraq, Afghanistan, you served in the war, you're automatically eligible for benefits that are pretty vast. You have preemptive claims, things that you were exposed to, in the environment. That if you're dealing with allergies, respiratory issues, a lot of different things you can be dealing with, that's automatically something you can get. But the other thing that many vets don't even realize is even if you may or may not be dealing with something, if you're somebody who's eligible within the PACT Act, you serve in those different areas, you're automatically eligible for VA healthcare. So you don't even have to have a rating. And if you don't know, if you're a vet who doesn't have a rating to get VA healthcare, you got to have certain qualifications. You can't just get it just because you're a veteran. You have to have income qualifications. But really, that's really the major things, the income qualifications. But as a PACT Act vet, then you automatically going to get that. So look into it. If you served, if you were deployed for sure after 9/11, please definitely look into that. Look at the PACT Act.
And also, if with the PACT Act, if you get that in there and something happens to you, say you do get the cancer and you pass, your family does get the benefits that are aligned with them with that PACT in there. So that stays in there true, just like you said earlier.
Since we're giving some juice, I'm going to give y'all some really juice. There's something called Muck Me. It's tied to the PACT Act. I want to read this straight from the VA. So the VA doesn't have a specific rating for medically unexplained chronic multi-symptom illness. Say that 10 times. Instead, the VA rates each individual condition based on its own merit. So here's the hard stuff right here. So some examples of Muck Me symptoms include fatigue, headache, skin rash, muscle and joint pain, sleep disturbance, indigestion, insomnia, dizziness, respiratory disorders, and memory problems. So if you served over in the Gulf, and here are the areas, Gulf War veterans may be eligible for a presumptive service connection for a qualifying chronic disability if they served in Southwest Asia Theater between August the 1st, 1990 and December 31st, 2021. Now, let me make that sense. Let me make sense of that. If you're filing for sleep apnea. And you say, oh man, I'm trying to get that service connected. And you served over there, you can file this as a MUCME. If you're filing for memory loss, what about sleep disturbance? Many vets serving combat have problem with sleep disturbance. Sleep disturbance has a rating from 0 to 100%. My God, I'm teaching good tonight. From 0 to 100%. Yeah. So now, because you served in combat, you got these nightmares, you file for that with a MUCME. So how bad do you not sleep? Oh, the only reason I get some sleep, I got to smoke marijuana, take a pill, have the fan on. How much sleep do you get without any of that? Wow, I'm only sleeping 1 or 2 hours a night. That could be a higher rating. What about skin? What about headaches? Mixed headaches, right? You got tension headaches, migraine headaches. What about that? File that on a MUCME. That may be a rating between, depending on how the severity, between 30 and 50%. So there's a lot that we teach when we're talking to veterans. And I'm sure tonight, as you're listening, you're saying, this brother dropping some knowledge. Thank you. That's what we like to do. But it's about helping teach you, not just come up with something off the top of our head. Ask a bunch of questions of you. And what I tell vets when I'm working with a Rich, I said, listen, I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions, right? If the answer is yes, just say yes. If I ask you got knee pain, yes or no? Well, I'll take a Motrin and drive on. I didn't ask you that garbage. I'm asking you, due to your service in the military, do you have knee pain now? Well, it didn't show up then, I got it now. Do you got knee pain, yes or no? Do you got shoulder pain, yes or no? I said, look, stop making this hard, right? We'll figure out the rest as we go. Anyway, that's my story and I'm sticking to it.
Heck yeah. Well, gentlemen, this our hour has gone by very fast, obviously. But what's the best way to get in contact with you? You have a lot of links. I put a lot of them into the show notes. I've been throwing them all into the chat as we're going on throughout tonight. So it's on all of our socials right now. What's the best way to get you? Is it just the championsforvets.org?
I would say email me, Gino@championsforveterans.com. GINO@championsforveterans.com. That's a great way to start. Or just go to championsforveterans.com. You can book a call, contact us there, and you'll get in touch with us pretty quickly. So we love to respond quickly. So reach out to us.
That website's going across the bottom of the screen right now. And another thing we ask our guests before we release them for the evening is, what's 3 things you believe the audience can start doing tomorrow to make them better humans? What would that be?
Oh man, I may take some from my dad just because, I feel like he probably would say something like this: to make up your bed, make your bed when you wake up in the morning. There's one thing. Read a book. Yeah, there you go. Read 10 to 20 pages of a book that is something that is going to help you with your mindset, help you to think differently, right? And to pull you out of wherever you are right now. And choose love. Yeah. I had to pull something in there like that. Choose love. Give to the world, give to others, be outwardly focused.
All right, I got my 3 things, man.
Here we go.
Of course, I'm a Christian. Man, look. You got to get in your word, man. You got to get in your word in the Bible, because you got to understand, God has put you here for a purpose. And a lot of times we don't understand the purpose is bigger than what we even thought. I didn't realize that my getting to 100% would change so many lives. And my son saying, that's just nothing but God. Because I tell people, I'm not this smart. Y'all, I barely passed high school. I got to use my calculator to add up every number now. My reading ain't too good. So I promise you, it was nothing but God that showed me the steps to help people get their VA benefits. I ain't that smart. Okay, so that's the first thing. Trust God. Then prayer, man, you got to pray. And there's a Bible verse I like to use. It's Proverbs 18:16 says, a man's gift maketh room for him and bringeth him before great men. What's your purpose? Why are you breathing air? Why you here? You got a purpose. And so when you get up and you walk in that purpose, man, I don't even have a hard day, brother. Monday, I don't care about no Monday. Every day's a holiday, every meal's a feast. Let's go.
Amen. Amen.
And the last thing I'm going to say is stay in the fight.
Heck yes. Stay in that fight. Stay in the light. Yes. And Terry, Ranger, Gino, great chat tonight. Gino, I know your dad took over the show. He let the CEO take a break tonight, but that was good. That's what, sometimes the CEO needs a break. I learned a lot. I know the audience learned a lot, and they were cheering you on throughout the whole thing. You got some good questions in there from the audience. I appreciate everything you guys are doing for our brothers and sisters, and keep up that good work. Thank you again for being on tonight.
Thank y'all for having us.
Thanks for having us, Rich.
Misfit Nation, as I said in the beginning, you're not alone. We are here for you. I put our contacts in the chat every night. I put it in there. Our phone numbers across the bottom. If you're into that darkness, you see that darkness coming at you, call the number, email us. We will get in contact with you, and we will get you the help you need. A day tomorrow without you is worse than a day with you. Stay with us and stay hopeful. Everyone else, I'll see you on Tuesday with the Tuesday crew and their guest at 7 p.m. on Tuesday. Let's have a great couple days until we get there. And good night, everybody.
This message is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Did you serve in the military? If so, you can obtain a free lifetime pass to more than 2,000 federal recreation sites. These sites are located across more than 400 million acres of public lands, including national parks, wildlife refuges, and forests. The lands host activities to fit any lifestyle: hiking, biking, fishing, camping, and much more. Gold Star families are also eligible for these free lifetime passes. Plus, they cover entrance fees for a driver and all passengers in a car, or up to 3 additional adults at sites that charge per person. Obtaining one is easy. Just go to the National Park Service website, nps.gov, or the National Park Service app.
Thanks for checking us out and being a part of the Misfit Nation show. Don't forget to visit our website at themisfitnation.com. That's themisfitnation.com. Check out all our past episodes and get some of the great Misfit Nation gear for you and your family. As always, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling, because we are
Misfit Nation. Misfit Nation.